This is Alexander Madison, running back for the Minnesota Vikings, and you're listening to the LCC Network.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Commissioners Clubhouse and the LCC Network, and it's playoff time here in Little Critter Clubhouse country, and we have got a show for you, my friends. Jameson, what's going on?
Hey, Pat, it's playoff time, like you said.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
That is my reaction to the playoffs this year. Anytime I think about how my season went, I'm excited, guys. This is week 13, so we'll be talking about some of the teams that got in the playoffs. We'll be doing some wild card predictions, talking about teams that we think, if we had to pick, could be pretenders, biggest kind of surprise things that hit the playoffs. So, and then possibly even a fantasy player MVP as well, team or player that you might want to have that we think is a great value and can lead a team through deep into the playoffs. So, Pat, do you have anything that you want to run through before we kick things off?
Yeah, just real quick, don't forget, guys, we have the award voting going on this week. I know for some people that are out, it may not seem that important, but this does go towards your Hall of Fame score, which I know everyone wants to get there eventually. And this could actually end up sending at least one person to the Hall of Fame, depending on how some of the voting goes, potentially. I'm not looking at the list, so maybe not. But anyways, yeah, make sure you vote. Should be a lot of fun, and it'll be interesting to see how the results come out.
Sorry, I accidentally hit that a little bit prematurely. Cool. I didn't mean to hit it so early, but I just went with it.
Into it.
All right, guys. So we've got the playoffs locked in, and here's the seeding. Number 1 in the top shot is Colby. He's been locked in there for a few weeks. Number 2, Daquan. So these guys got the first round bye. They will not be playing in week 13. They'll get a chance. Their players can rest. Pat, they rest their players.
They don't have to worry about getting hurt.
They don't have to,
they don't have to worry about
avoid all
anyone
the
getting suspended.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then they'll be ready for week 14. And then in the wild card round, we've got Hunter, who's been in the 3 seed for a while now, facing Cody in the 6 seed. That's where he's won his 2 titles in the wild card round. So he's comfortable there. Not sure it's going to be as easy this year, but he has experience in that position. And then Mufali and Mondo, inter-division rivalry here. Even though it's Mondo's first season, playing each other in the wild card round in the top shotas. We'll break these games down here in a few minutes. In the Elite 12, Pat, you're locked in at the 1. That's been known for, I guess, a couple weeks now. Cameron rose all the way up to the number 2 seed. It looked like Billy had that locked down for the longest time. Cameron kind of storms back and fell kind of, backed his way into a first round bye there, beating Peyton in week 12 last week. So congrats to you guys. BP versus Billy in the wild card round. And then Isaac and Mike versus in the wild card round. Isaac got a bye week too, I think. He can basically skip on to week 14. Is that harsh? Have we made fun of Mike enough, do you think, last week?
I mean, I think we did, because he's obviously shown last week that he can break 300, which, I mean, obviously that is the measurement we give teams. And are they capable of beating an elite team any given week? And if you break 300, you make that case, in my opinion.
Well, that's why he does have the nickname.
Hey, are you Dirty Mike and the boys?
You don't get that nickname lightly. That's for sure. So I guess some discussion here before we make predictions. Pat, there are a lot of teams there. There are teams. I don't think we're really surprised by the teams that are here for the most part. I mean, there's, even though Mike had the losing record, we expected him to win that division. There's maybe 1 or 2 teams we expected different, but so I want to know, like, who you think's the biggest, or what you think is the biggest surprise. So not necessarily like what team you think is the biggest surprise, but whether it's the team or the way they got there. What was kind of the most surprising thing about what you've seen happen in the playoff seeding so far?
for me, it's got to be Cameron at the 2 seed. I mean, like we said, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about within a 90-day period, Billy went from, without a doubt, the number 1 seed in the Elite 12 to now the 6th seed. I mean, we can have kittens be born in 90 days. We can have laws passed to bills in 90 days. We can, things can happen in life, but Billy went from the 1st seed to almost missing the playoffs, and Cameron got the 2nd seed. It wasn't just that Cameron got there, it was the way he did it. I mean, he had the 2nd overall pick, obviously didn't have a good year last year. He has the top rated defense. He lost Telvin Smith in the offseason, which obviously he didn't end up keeping. But then on top of that, we had the Antonio Brown drama. So all of these trials and tribulations that the Spurs have gone to throughout the offseason and regular season, at 7-5, not a pretty record, but is the number 2 seed in the Elite 12.
Yeah, led by that top-ranked defense, led by Jordan Hicks, which we talked up a lot in the offseason. And we actually compared him to Jalen Smith at one point. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
saying that they were back-to-back in our rankings, and some people we got a lot of pushback, like, oh, that's crazy, Jalen Smith's, so it's kind of crazy how it all works out. But no, that's good. I have Daquan here as my pick. And it's not that he's here per se. I think that we thought he could be. I think it's the way he got here, right? 10-2 record, one of the highest points for in the league, and an efficiency rating of almost 90%. He's starting the right people. He's got a great roster. It looks like they're really hitting a good stride. Nick Chubb has fantastic matchups. Derrick Henry's got some solid ones. We've got some other players later we'll talk about. I think Daquan can make a serious run here as we move forward through the playoffs. So that was kind of a surprise here. What about? I don't want to use this word lightly, but you say like contender and pretenders, right? If there's a team you had to pick as a pretender, not that any of these guys are bad, but if there's a team here that you think, all right, you're just not maybe at the same level as the others, at least this season, or maybe you got bad matchups, whatever the reason is, who do you have as your pretender besides Mike? We've beat up on him enough. The record's there. That's kind of low-hanging fruit. Besides Mike, who do you have to pick here as a team that you think just maybe doesn't have what it takes to go the full playoff schedule?
It's hard for me to say this out loud because of how much we hyped this person and their franchise up throughout the 33, 34 weeks of the offseason.
Yeah.
But it's got to be Mafali for me. He's 15th in scoring. His efficiency isn't very good. It's roughly 83. I think it's 83.1%. In comparison, Jordan, who finished 4-8, has only scored 14 points less than him. And then he's only broken 300 points 3 times this year, and 2 of the 3 were within the first 3 weeks of the regular season. So obviously, ever since, things have just not gone well for Mafali, and obviously some of that's outside of his control. I'm sure some of it was, but the metrics just aren't there for me to see a serious playoff push. I'm not saying he can't win in the wild card round, but I don't know if he can go as deep as he probably thought he could have, and as we thought he could have during the offseason.
Yeah, no, that one does suck because that is one I remember through the offseason saying, this is the team that's going to go all the way, right? I had him ahead of Hunter, I had ahead of Cody, ahead of Daquan, ahead of Colby. He was my number 1 team, heading into the season. So it definitely is crazy to think about. But you're right. The numbers don't lie. It's a very middle of the road team based on the metrics, right? 15th in scoring. That's not even the top half. 83% efficiency is incredibly low. There were teams that missed the playoffs that were way beyond that. Point score, like you mentioned,
exactly.
Jordan 4-8. There were teams that had 4 or 5 wins that had as many or more points scored than Mufali's, right? So I see that. I think that's a really good point, and I see a lot of similarities between Mufali and the team I picked, which was BP. Metrics wise, they're almost identical. BP has one of the lowest points for of all the playoff contenders. Obviously, besides Mike, it's literally Mike, Mufali, and then BP, right, really right behind him by not many points. Very, very similar argument here. Efficiency of 83.5, which is second or third, I guess, same order. Mike, Mufali, BP. And then he faces Billy in the first round. And I know we've seen Billy drop off wins-wise. When you look at how some of the losses were, and I think Billy alluded to this in the group chat a few weeks ago, there was like a 2 or 3 week stretch where he was going 295, 300, 300 plus, and was losing to teams that were scoring 320, 330, 340 points. So he was still scoring points in a lot of those losses. So I think it's going to be a tough road for him. And again, I like numbers. So I just can't, of all the teams I'm looking at here, I just can't think that he's going to be able to make a deep, deep run with with what we were seeing metrics wise. So,
no, I agree with you. I've been saying it all year. To me, I didn't expect BP to win the division. He ended up winning the division. He proved me wrong. Maybe he'll prove us wrong here in the postseason, but I just don't see him getting through this. I mean, your first games against Billy, that's never going to go well in any case, especially this year in the playoffs.
Yeah, you can ask me and you and Isaac how that went last season in the playoffs. And in that order. No, sorry, you, me, and then Isaac in that order last year, how it went with Billy. And that team is stacked. I mean, you like, even though he's had a little bit of a rough stretch, and we said the depth wasn't going to be there in the offseason, right? And I think that's come to fruition. Still, that team is stacked, though. I mean, Gurley's still there. Zeke's still there. Rodgers playing the Giants this week. So there's a game he can blow up like he did at the Raiders. It's this week, right? Bouncing back after the Niners game. So I think it's gonna be a tough road ahead for him. So I want to tweak our conversation a little bit, right? It's been pretty owner focused. I want to switch to a player focus just for a second, right? What about a prediction for a fantasy player MVP in the playoffs, right? And so for this, I think I'm looking at value, right? So if there's a player that maybe he's underwhelmed, maybe he's on a hot streak now, right? NBA Jams rules, he's on fire. Maybe he's got really good matchups. I mean, if you're looking at a player through the playoffs, who could be a big part in leading their team to a title?
One of the guys, and I'm going to pat myself on the back for this because I said this throughout the entire offseason, it's Eric Reed. I mean, one of the highest scoring safeties. He's doing it consistently. And these are his matchups. He's got Washington this week. I could easily see like a pick or a turnover in that game. Then he's got Atlanta. So Atlanta's obviously going to be airing the ball out, trying to expose Carolina's defense. Wait. They will.
Did you just say Carolina's going to have an interception against Washington?
Maybe. We'll see.
Absolutely. No, yeah, definitely. Absolutely will. Dwayne Haskins. At least one interception.
Yeah, that's true.
I think at least one. He could get one.
He's got a fair shot at getting it, considering he never comes out the field.
Yeah.
And then this is one game. I know people worried about playing New Orleans in New Orleans. I know some people still worry about playing New Orleans for a second time, Week 17 in Carolina. But you want to. This is the team. I'm not joking. I feel like may expose Carolina's defense even more than what Atlanta and New Orleans did. It's Seattle. And I think Eric Reed's going to be very busy playing against the Seahawks in Bank of America Stadium. And then obviously he's got the Indianapolis Colts. And all of this is going on in our playoffs. I think Eric Reed is in a good spot to have a great postseason. And Carolina's defense, again, it is not pretty. They are getting chopped up by offensive coordinators. And he's going to have a very busy next couple weeks.
Yeah, I think so. We have to. We'll take a second to issue you an apology for
thank you. I appreciate
arguing against Eric Reed in the offseason. Isaac, we were both pretty adamant against him. Isaac had him like way down, like in the 50s, I think, or the 60s.
He had him as like a DB6 or something crazy. I don't even know.
Yeah, and here's he's averaging 41 points a game. He's only scored below 32 points twice on the entire season. And in his last 5 games, 46, 71, 32, 36, 70. And he's going to be facing Washington, Atlanta, Seattle, Indy. Yeah, I agree with that. I think if you've got Eric Reed, you've got him fired up for all 4 games, assuming that someone makes it that far, right? But you've got him fired up. I'm going to go to a quarterback here that nobody would suspect, I don't think. And that's Ryan Tannehill, right? This is a guy that has been on fire lately since he took over from Marcus Mariota. And I mean, 41 points, 31, 49, 39, 53. So 4 of his last 5 games, he scored at least 39 fantasy points, which is solid, right? That's a guy that you picked up off the waiver wire because you had an injury or just a quarterback who was underperforming. But his matchups are great. He's got the Colts, who are a solid defense, but they're a little heavier against the run, I think, better. The Raiders and the Texans are not good pass defenses. And then the Saints would be the title game if a Ryan Tannehill owner were to go that far. But I think you can have really, really good games. I'm not a fan of the Titans at all. You guys have heard me rail against Derrick Henry for probably at least.
I don't think anyone likes the Titans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I guess it's not a bold statement to say no one likes them. But I've been really, really impressed on what they've done lately. And whether it's a need to, coming from behind or whatever the need is, the passing game is like really good since Ryan Tannehill took over. So I think if you've got him, and he could be a very sneaky guy that can provide you a lot of value if you're needing a quarterback there. So
yeah, I think it's a fair assessment.
Yeah. I actually picked him up in our other league. I dropped Derek Carr for him because I've got Lamar Jackson, and I'm a little worried that if I go to the title game in Week 17 and Lamar Jackson is not playing for anything, that I'll have to play somebody else, right? And Ryan Tannehill would be playing the Texans, which is a horrible pass defense. So I actually scooped him up in our other league today too. So that's kind of what gave me this idea. But all right, Pat. Well, I want to hear. So I think this is the part everyone's going to be most interested in, right? We've talked about, the matchups to this point, teams that were surprising, teams that could be pretenders, players that could provide some fantasy value. Who do you have winning the games, right? That's all we got left to do is predict the game. So we'll start with Hunter and Cody. What do you see happening in this game?
Well, I think one of the first things that jumps out at me is Deshaun Watson going off against the New England Patriots. I mean, you saw what they did to Dak. You've seen what they've done to pretty much every NFL quarterback this year. And it is alarming how one team in professional football can shut down the forward pass like it's like 1919 when it's still first becoming invented. It's ridiculous how well their pass defense is. That is a huge worry for me if you've got Deshaun Watson in your starting lineup, which Cody does at the moment. I don't know if that'll change, what will happen there, but I would be worried in that instance because I think Jared Goff could easily outscore him this week. The history, though, between these guys, especially in recent history within the LCC, I mean, we all know it. These guys have both been, for the past 2 years at least, like perennial playoff appearance teams that are going deep into the playoffs every single year. And I don't know, man. I'm really pumped up about this game, kind of what this will entail. I don't have it's funny because I haven't updated the history stuff yet with what's happened this regular season. So I can't really go back and look at some of the previous matchups between these guys. But as you all know, I mean, Cody's on the right here where he's comfortable wild card spot. Hunter, this is the first time he's been in the wild card, and he's got to go through Cody, the current reigning champion of the LCC. You got to be thinking if you're Hunter, you want to get over this hump because it should get easier kind of going forward. Because I want to say if he wins this, he'll wind up playing Colby, which I know I didn't pick him as a team that I saw as a pretender. But between Daquan and Colby, I would rather play Colby if I'm on that end.
All day. Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. No, I agree. I think so who are you picking? Did you outright name a team?
I'm picking Hunter. I mean, the guy's lost 2 games all year. I mean, give me a break. This is easy for me.
Yeah, no, this is easy. Cody has actually got pretty similar metrics to some of the guys that we mentioned earlier. In fact, they're right there with mine. I think I won 5 games this year. So Hunter, I mean, even in a down game, he's scoring 280 something points, right? I don't like a lot of Cody's matchups. You talked about Deshaun Watson. Like, I know that sometimes some guys get wrapped up in the matchups, right? Like, oh, it's a bad matchup. I don't trust this guy. But this is a horrendous matchup that hasn't worked for anybody but Lamar Jackson. I know what you're thinking. Well, Deshaun Watson's just as good. He's a very good NFL quarterback. But I do not trust the Texans coaching staff or the offense to figure it out against the Patriots. Because let's be honest, no one's as electric as Lamar Jackson. Not Deshaun Watson, not Russell Wilson. Nobody like that can do what he can do. So I'm not high on him. Jared Goff. Hunter's got Jared Goff against Arizona, even though Jared Goff's had a down year. He's played very well against poor pass defenses. So I'm absolutely going to go Hunter in this one as well. So he should be moving on to play Colby in the divisional round. So Mufali versus Mondo, the other team here in the Top Shadows Conference. Pat, what do you see here? Mufali, did he sweep Mondo this year?
He did. Surprisingly, as you know, we've talked so highly of Mondo all season, but he has taken kind of like a downward turn, I would say, the past couple of weeks. Whereas Mufali has won some key games to put him in this point to win his division and get a chance to totally sweep him, go 3-0. I mean, that's a little embarrassing when someone beats you 3 times. I mean, 2 in a row is bad. 3 times in the season, that's really rough. That's one that you don't forget for sure. You got to wonder, and this is a game, again, it's going to be very interesting because we all know Mondo wants to prove himself as a rookie owner. He's one of the rookie GM of the year candidates. So what a perfect time for him to assert himself into the league and show his dominance by going in and winning this. Do you have some of the matchups pulled up in front of you, Jameson?
You mean like players?
Yeah.
Like,
between the two.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. And for this reason, I'm completely going Mondo. Kyler Murray against the Rams. Aaron Jones against the Giants. And this is for Mondo's team. Alvin Kamara at the the Falcons. Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, Khalil Mack against Detroit. Fred Warner against Baltimore. Baltimore's going to run the ball a lot. Corey Littleton at Arizona. Von Bell against the Falcons. He's been on fire. Literally everybody but Tracy Walker in Chicago is a plus matchup for me from Mondo. And then you see the other side of it. Mufali currently has David Montgomery in his lineup. Bud Dupree, Zach Ertz, Odell Beckham. And it sounds weird saying that about Odell Beckham, but I mean, my goodness, Mondo's, I mean, at least on paper, should win this one pretty easily, hands down.
I thought you were saying pretty handsy. I was like, ooh,
Pretty,
kinky.
sexy. It's a pretty easily, I think.
No, I think that's somewhat fair. I mean, like we said earlier, Mufali isn't a team that I'm super high on with the way this season's gone. I'm not saying he obviously couldn't win this game. I think it's reasonable they could make an upset here, but I'm going to have to go with Mondo too. I think this is a get right game for Amari Cooper. I think that's going to help him. Again, Fred Warner has just been, I mean, none of us saw to this extent him coming into play and really dominating as a linebacker in IDP formats. But yeah, I'm going to have to give it to the hash slinging slashers here. Oh, do you get the sound drop?
How's it just about to hit it too? Yeah, I had it ready to go.
Hash slinging slashers.
Yes.
Had it ready to go. All right, BP versus Billy in the Elite 12, the number 3, number 6 seed. We alluded to this a little bit earlier, so probably don't have to drill it home, but Billy, a lot of the same matchups Mondo's got, right? Amari Cooper, Devontae Adams, Khalil Mack. He's got Eric Reed, who we already talked about, could have a huge day. A Todd Gurley against Arizona. I know Todd Gurley's had a down year, like we projected all offseason, but he's playing Arizona, one of the worst rush defenses in football. And of course, Aaron Rodgers in a get right game against the Giants. So I've got to give this one to BP. He's had like a little bit of a down week, but if there's a guy who can come out and put up 330 points in the blink of an eye, it's Billy, right?
Yep. That's without a doubt for sure. Sorry, I was able to import all of our stuff into the history thing, so I was able to see the matchups. I had thought these guys had played each other before, but they haven't.
No, they haven't.
So Billy's on. This is a 3-game losing streak. I mean, if he loses this, I mean, that makes the month of November a very, very sad month indeed, especially going one and done in the wild card round to BP, who we both seem to agree is probably not going to win this game against Billy. Again,
after a 4-game losing streak, you're just thankful it's over.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you're thankful for. Thanksgiving. Just
exactly.
the fantasy season's done.
Yeah.
You can't lose. Yeah.
But no. I mean, I think Todd Gurley had an exceptionally awful game. this past week. I'm not saying he's going to do great, but I think he'd have at least a decent outing going into the wild card weekend. And I think Billy should be able to win this. Right now, the website's favoring Billy 271 to 264. That seems a little low to me. I mean, generally speaking, they are. I think Billy's going to push closer to 300. I think we can expect BP getting to like 280, around that range. That's kind of way I'd say, like 20 points, 15, 20 point gap.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Just real quick,
so
I think it's worth.
Going...
Yeah, I'm definitely going Billy in this. Just to throw it back to Cody Hunter really quick. This is definitely worth noting. They've played each other every year in the playoffs since Hunter's entered the league. 2014 divisional round, Hunter lost 205 to 172. And then last year in the conference championship, he lost 344 to 270. So to say the least, it has not gone anywhere close to the way Hunter wants it to go. But obviously we both agree that that's going to change.
Oh, Hunter, you got to get him. You got to get him back, man. You can't let him beat up on you like that.
Yeah.
Last Elite 12 game here, Mike versus Isaac, in a game that I think will be a little closer than people think, because Isaac does not have great matchups. I don't like the Melvin Gordon matchup in Denver, at least the way he's got it set now. I don't love the Devontae Parker, even though Philly has had a horrible pass defense all season. They're a lot healthier. They've played a lot better last week. DeAndre Hopkins and Deshaun Watson against the Patriots. We've seen what happened last week. So I think Isaac's going to get, if he wins this game, which I think he will, he's going to get a lot from his defense, right? Chandler Jones, Fred Warner, Corey Littleton, Taylor Rapp. I think they're all going to have pretty good games and able to carry him. And I think in this case, he's not going to have a tremendous outing from his offense, but he better be careful because Mike's bringing Derrick Henry, Cooper Kupp, Chris Godwin, and Baker Mayfield to the party. And Baker Mayfield, we've kind of hated on all season, right? But he has kind of heated up the last couple of weeks, and he's got a pretty good. I'm completely blanking. Matchups. It's not great against Pittsburgh. I'm completely blanking. Pretty good matchups the rest of the playoff season, even though it's not fantastic against Pittsburgh, but he did it a couple weeks back. So it will be closer than people think, I believe. But I'm still gonna pick Isaac in this one.
No, I think that's fair. I do think it's be close. I think Deshaun Watson going against the New England Patriots. I know it's in Houston, but it's Bill Belichick, man. I have my doubts on how he's going to perform. I mean, if Deshaun Watson goes 19 of 30 against the Colts at home, I just can't imagine what's going to happen against the New England Patriots at home. So, again, I'm going to go in a relatively low score. And in fact, the projections are extremely low. They have Isaac winning 257 to 237. I don't think it's going to get that bad for either team, but I do think you could see maybe like a 280 something to like 270 something type deal, or maybe even closer than that. I don't know, but I'm going to give it a slight edge to Isaac. But again, I wouldn't put it past Dirty Mike and the boys to walk away with an upset.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. I'm going to play the sound drop here.
Hey, are you Dirty Mike and the boys?
All right, before we sign off, we're not going to do a full assessment here. But
McDonald's Bowl.
We got the McDonald's Bowl. This is what I play for, guys. I don't know about you. This is the only reason I even joined the LCC. So I can get 10 free dollars to the shittiest fast food restaurant on the planet.
Dude, this is the ultimate bitch slap in the LCC is to get the McDonald's Bowl, in my opinion. I mean, you could say, sure, you missed not even getting a bowl game is bad enough, but getting the McDonald's Bowl is a little embarrassing.
I don't even want it. I would rather not have it and be in the shadows than be like in the light at the McDonald's Bowl. Because if I win, then what? You won the McDonald's Bowl, right? Like, and if I lose, then you lost the McDonald's Bowl. So it's kind of like a no-win situation.
Dude, I mean, if you think about it, how many times have you walked into a McDonald's and someone whipped out a fancy, nice, beautiful McDonald's gift card and you thought to yourself, damn, that man's got it going on. He's got the life. He's getting free McDonald's today. I don't think anyone says that. If I see someone with McDonald's gift card, I'm like, damn, someone must have really hated him to buy that McDonald's gift card because that sucks.
Let's be honest.
That's your gift. That is awful.
If I see someone in a McDonald's, I'm already thinking that they didn't make the right choices, right? So, I mean, gift card aside, and I'll probably just give it away for Christmas or something if I win it. But just real quick, someone I hate, someone I don't like. Just real quick, it's me against Matt. I mean, I'm just happy to have another week to play fantasy football, but I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, Matt's got some decent matchups, some that are really good, some that are really bad. And I think I've kind of on the same trail. It's projected to be really close if and when he sets his lineup. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
That's basically as deep as my analysis goes for this game.
Matt's the first ever Top Shot's team to ever make or play in a bowl game. And Jameson, this is your first time in a bowl game. Congratulations.
It's not anything to congratulate me about. I would appreciate it if we didn't mention it anymore after this episode. I'd rather go out in the first week in a blazing heap of fire than play in a bowl game. Even if I light it up and score like 400 points, right? Like it's still a bowl game at the end of the day, right?
It's still a bowl game.
So
yeah.
So but yeah, that's it for this show, guys. Good luck in the playoffs. And Pat, anything before we sign off?
Best of luck to everyone. I'm just enjoying, man. I'm living life. I've got a bye week. I'm relaxing.
Well, you're
this weekend.
you're in a bye week. You're out of the league. You're out of the playoffs in our other league. So you're just cruising this weekend.
Yeah, dude, I am. You know what? Today's about real football this weekend and just kind of hanging out.
Yeah,
that's what it's about.
Yeah, that's how my next 2 weeks are going to be too. Basically, like not locked up the first round, first seed in our other league. I'm in the McDonald's Bowl in this league, so it's just cruising, enjoying the holidays, right?
Yep, that's right.
All right, guys. With that, we'll see you next week after the first round. Good luck to those who are in it. To those who aren't, I guess maybe we'll see you in 2020. And have a great Thanksgiving. Goodbye.